Morning. Really excited for today to get on the road, get a chance to go about 9 days on the road and go play against some other teams. Get some joint practices tomorrow at Tampa, get a chance to go to Atlanta. Really excited about the opportunity for our team to be on the road together. That's sort of the intent of the whole trip. Spend some time, get a chance to grow together, and then get to go play against some other teams. And one of the things that I'm really looking for is what do those teams say about us when we leave? You know, what do they say about how we play, the intensity we practice with? Those are all things that we get a chance to go make an imprint of what our team can be this year, and that's the starting point. Get a chance to go play against somebody else and show what we're all about and go compete, which would be really fun. And get a chance to do some things as a team on the road, some events together, things like that. It's something I'm really looking forward to. Can't wait.
Practices look like, I guess, starting in Tampa, a lot like these, but just working on several fields, different units.
Yeah, it'll be just pretty similar to a practice here. You know, points of emphasis on a one-day practice with Tampa will be a little bit different than a 2-day practice with Atlanta. You get it. The 2 days give you some chances to break some things up, but you'll see all the major situations. You'll see some third down. You'll see red zone. You'll see 2-minute. All the stuff that we work here every day. It'll be good to go against somebody else.
Had an uncharacteristic blow-up after the last practice. Was that just frustration mounting because of the offensive struggles, or just something to give the offense a spark?
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate. Probably more so than anything else is a chance to teachable moment. There's adversity that you're going to face during the course of a season. For us, you know, we had 5 out of 6 days in pads. It was hard. Guys were tired, and it came down to the last period, and it really was just the last period of practice that I just wanted to see a different response in the moment, and it was a good chance to point it out and talk about what we need in the future. And I think just going through that moment allows you to grow from it. So it was a really, I think, teachable moment at the end of the day, and you know, uncharacteristic. You know, you guys don't see me every day all the time, but you know, sometimes you gotta turn it up a little bit.
What kind of feedback did you get from that, Brian? The players said anything to you about that?
Yeah, I think all of them recognized what we were looking for, especially from an offensive execution perspective in that moment, and they know exactly what it is. And I don't think any of them were surprised by it, and I don't think anybody would have expected any less, to be honest, because we hold ourselves to a higher standard, and we needed to perform better in the moment. And you know, the good thing is it's August 4th or 5th or whatever day it was, and we got a lot of work still to go, and it was a good moment for us. I think it was necessary.
Get Quandre back, and how does he kind of fit into your safety group?
Yeah, I'm really excited to have Quandre back. I'm a huge fan of his. I'd been with him in Detroit for 2 years, and obviously having him here this year, he's a pro's pro. He's an outstanding leader. He's a good football player, and so I think we're always open to adding good football players to our team, and he's certainly, we had an opportunity to bring him back, and he was interested in coming back, so he's here and ready to roll, and I'm thrilled that we have him here. The safety rotation is still going to be what it is, but it's good for the competition. It's good for our football team.
You've seen the defense have the upper hand.
What's your plan with Cam for the first preseason?
Yeah, we're going to play. Our starters are going to play. We're going to play in all 3 preseason games. That's just like we did last year, similar process. The joint practices do change a little bit of how much, you know, you kind of gauge how physical the practice is and how much those guys might need, but they're going to play in every game, and we're going to let Cam play. So he's going to be on the field playing football. Hard to say how much at the moment. We'll work through that as we get to the practice tomorrow, but I would imagine for sure a series and maybe 2 in the first game with the starters, so he'll play.
Brian,
I'll come back. We'll come back.
Defenses, we've seen them have the upper hand a lot out here in these training camp practices. How eager are you to see them tested by a pretty potent Buccaneers offense with Mayfield and those receivers?
I think it's great. We get a chance to go against 2, I think, really talented offensive teams. When you look at their roster and their talent, and you know, Tampa Bay was a playoff team last year. They won 10 games. They've done a really good job. So to go against Baker and that skill group they have there, which is incredibly talented, it's a good offensive line. It's going to be a great test for us, and that's why I look forward to these joint practices. Is you get to measure against somebody else, and you get to see how you respond against different competition in a different color jersey. Really excited about that, but certainly a stiff test for the defense, because that's a good operation there on offense.
one instance at the end of last practice.
Yeah.
How would you rate the offense so far this camp, and is it close to what you would like to see, or is it pretty far away?
No, I mean we're still striving to get better and hit a certain mark. I think the growth that I think Cam's shown in the last couple of days from that particular process, I think has been really, really encouraging. There's a particular way you have to play quarterback in the NFL, and I think he's figuring out how to balance that with how he's played in the past, and we're trying to mesh those styles together for him. And he's done a great job with it. So there's still growth to be had. We're not where we need to be, certainly, but that's the fun part of training camp. And I think as we stack some practices against some different defenses, I think it'll be fun to see where we're at. I feel good about our trajectory, and I feel good about the process that we have going, and we got to keep pushing to perform.
Preseason, do you look back at last year's preseason games in terms of, like you talked about, playing starters and everything else, and things that you say, okay, I want to change this from maybe my first year?
I mean, I liked how we went about the process in the preseason last year. I felt like we were ready to play when the opening game. I think that's the key is your team in the right place to go play football for real. And we came out pretty hot in the first part of that Chicago game, and I felt like we were ready to go play. And so the process there, I think is the right one to play, and I think playing is important, and I wouldn't change much. We might play a little bit more potentially on offense just because we have a young quarterback that needs to see a little bit of action. So we feel like he's really ready to roll, and he's got enough experience that potentially week one isn't an eye-opener. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I feel good about how we did it last year. It's going to be pretty similar, but we're still going to play in the preseason.
What success is, or what success looks like in the preseason when you're trying to look at it so much?
Yeah, it's hard because it's not real, and what I mean by that is your starters may be out there against the other team's twos. You're not going to see their fastballs. They're not going to see their game plan. All of those things lead to a hard gauge. It's still a football game. It's not practice, but it's also not a real football game either when it comes to game plans and pressure packages and all that stuff. So what you're looking for is guys to execute the techniques and the system at its core. So it's really more about what we're doing and how we do it. That's what you look for, and you look for us executing that at a high level, regardless of, again, of who you're playing against or what's out there. You want that to look like you have you're executing things well the way you want them executed. Again, the score is sort of irrelevant to me. It's more about watching guys play and seeing them play real football and see who shows up.
Brian, you brought in Mike McCoy. Has he been everything that you expected and hoped for bringing him to the staff?
Yeah, Mike's been fantastic. Such a wealth of experience in the league, experience as a head coach, experience as a coordinator, really good person, sounding board for me, someone to lean on. He's great. He's just a great person on top of it. I love being around him. I think everybody else does too. He loves football, and truthfully, for a guy that's had the experiences that he's had and this been a head coach and all those things, and for him to come in the role he's in with the humility to take on the role and just want to help. He just loves football and wants to be around and wants to lend a helping hand wherever he can help us at the end of the day. So love Mike, love having him here. I think he's been an asset for us so far.
When you go up against your own team day in and day out, they're obviously hungry to go up against another team. What's the conversation you have going down there just to make sure it doesn't get too high, too heated out there?
Well, the league doesn't want fights at joint practices. That's pretty clear. We have pretty straightforward rules in place, and I won't share those necessarily exactly what they are, but we shouldn't have any of those problems. I want guys to compete. You want to sort of live on that edge a bit, but at the end of the day, if it boils over in anything else, it's illegal. You can't do it in a game. You shouldn't do it in practice. I hope it's spirited. I hope it's competitive, but there's a line that you can't cross. And I think both me and Coach Bowles and their team are all on the same page as we're trying to get together, get some great work, and not have anything silly happen in the process.
Who's out of practice today, and do you have anybody that won't practice against the Bucks?
We'll see about the Bucks. Today, the same couple guys are out. I'll just make sure I have it accurate. Hance is still returning. He's getting better, but he'll be out today. Brewer, he's getting better. He'll be out today. Carlos Watkins will be out today. Kevin Winston will be out today, and then Quandre will be out here, but we'll manage Quandre. He hasn't practiced as much as these guys have, so he'll be out and doing some things, but he probably won't participate in the full practice at the moment. Sweat should be out here. He should be good to go. All good?